right, so this is going to be the MJX H12Y Plus, and it's probably one of the best value 12-scale RC crawler that you can buy on the market. So let's actually just dive into the details so you can know why am I giving this evaluation, and you can decide if you want to spend your hard-earned money on this thing. This is heavy. Right, so just to give you like a quick spec review, you can see that the MJX H12Y is actually having a full metal body. You can see that this is going to be super hard and it's going to be very, very heavy. However, the downside with the metal body is that you can see that the details on the side panels, it's just kind of like a panel right there. So the only more realistic design is just going to be on the hood. As you can see that you're getting some of the panel works right here, but the rest are just going to be completely flat. So this is actually not going to be a very scale model if you want something that is just looking like the real thing. This is kind of like just a Jeep design thing. It's just nothing close to like a scale model. So that's something that you have to kind of be aware. And also with the metal body, obviously this car is going to be very top heavy because yeah, this is just adding a lot of weight on the top. So it probably will affect our performance a little bit, but you know, this is what you have to live with. As for the things that you're able to open on this thing, quite interesting. They actually add like a little latch like the real Jeep. You can actually open the front hood so you can see that what is actually inside. Yeah, so very, very neat detail. And on the back, you're actually going to be getting like a smaller size spare tire. This is not going to be the same size as the one that you're getting right here. But you do also get 4 in the package if you're going to be getting this one. So if you wanted to replace this one with the smaller tires, this is something you can add on. On the side, you do get some foldable mirrors, which is going to be made in complete plastic. And this is just like a regular sticker that doesn't actually show you in there. For it to being foldable, I think it's very essential because when you're just rolling down the hill, this is just not going to break that easy. So very, very nice design. Also, if you just look at the front grille, you can see that there is going to be a bumper guard. But this one is going to be in complete plastic. So if you wanted to make sure this is durable, probably change this to metal. It's going to give you a better result. And as for the face, I do like it. The kind of angry Jeep sort of kind of design. Next, let's pop up the top body so we can see what's actually under the drivetrain. So it's kind of the most important thing of this car. All right, so what you can see right here is that they're actually using magnets to hold this. So when you are actually grabbing the car, make sure you don't grab it right here because it's just going to fall completely. But it's very nice design, so you don't have to worry about like adding screws or latches or whatsoever. So for the internal, the most important part is going to be this one. This is going to be the Angry Snail developed by MJX. It has an FOC system, 3500 kV motor, like brushless system. This stuff alone is probably just going to be costing you about $100 to $120, depends on which one you want. So this is very, very good value. Just consider that you're getting the whole package with this one. As for the servo, you're going to be getting this kind of standard 20 kilogram servo that is going to be like standard for MJX builds. For the receiver, it's going to be kind of like added into this kind of waterproof case. If you wanted to drive kind of in semi kind of water condition, this should be sufficient. So for the battery, you will be getting an Angry Snail 2000 milliamp Li-ion battery that is going to be included with this kit. I currently just took it out because I replaced the Li-ion to a LiPo with a higher C rating, so we can like basically max out the speed for the brushless motor. However, for this one, although it's kind of like 3S capable, but for some reason the ESC just going to lock it if you're going to put a 3S battery. So 3S currently nobody is able to make it to work at the moment. Next, we're just going to be tilting it to see what's actually in the bottom. So at the bottom, the good part of this is that you're getting most of the stuff in metal, the important ones. So you can see that you're getting the metal chassis, you're getting the 4 chassis links. That's actually kind of semi-metal. Only this part is kind of like plastic, but it should be okay. Shouldn't be breaking. As for the drive links, they're also going to be metal drive links. So very, very nice that this is the most of the stuff that people are going to upgrade right away. So you're just kind of saving your money right here. As for the axle covers, these are actually going to be in plastic. But the important things like in the metal gears, the metal like drivetrain, the metal dog bones, whatsoever in there, it's just going to be in complete metal. So that's a very, very good thing. As for the fronts like servo puller, for some reason, I don't know why they didn't like just included a metal one instead, that you just have to leave one in complete plastic. I just don't know the reason, but this is something that you can buy aftermarket parts to upgrade yourself. This is kind of like this thing that I just don't understand why MJX is doing this. Also, talking about the axles, you're actually going to be getting portal axle, which is going to give you a lot more clearance between the tires and the ground. So very, very nice. This is one of the things that is kind of making it a crawler instead of like a basher, you know. So when you have a portal axle, this is just going to be greatly giving you the ability to cross through objects because you're not going to hit the axle that easy. As for the shocks, it's not surprising that MJX is actually going to be including oil filter shocks. These are going to be in complete plastic, so if you wanted to kind of upgrade this, probably upgrade in metal if you find something that is actually better, but this one is already pretty good, like directly out of the box. Alright, so next let's actually just look at the most important stuff on a crawler, which is going to be the tire. So these are going to be V-Lock tires, which is very good to see kind of on a budget model. And you're going to get plastic rims, which is kind of obviously, but if you wanted to add a little bit more bottom weight, probably replace this to like complete metal. Should give you a little bit better performance when you're crawling, because this car is just super top heavy. That's just kind of the thing about this car. So overall, not bad. These are going to be the larger ones that you're actually going to be put in directly on top of the car when you receive it. They're actually going to be giving you 4 little spares, which these tires are just going to be the same as the spare tire on the back. So they're going to be a lot smaller. Next, let's actually bring out the remote to see what controls that we're actually going to be getting. So this one is the MJX remote, which is kind of like the thing that is a little bit disappointing of this entire rig. It feels cheap and it's not good, and everything just feels like not right. But yeah, so if you have the money, I would strongly suggest you to probably replace this just to completely. All right, so you do require a few batteries, like AA batteries, to like kind of put this in, which is kind of pretty standard. And if you're going to power this on, just power up the button right here. And if you wanted to power up the MJX, the power button is going to be right here. So the power button is also something that people are complaining about regarding the MJX. It's because like if you actually crawl over a rock or something, it kind of might turn off itself. So obviously you're going to get full proportional steering. So the steering is not going to be very fast, but it's going to be pretty good for crawler already. And you're going to get full proportional like throttle as well, so which is going to be pretty standard. You are only going to be getting one speed. There's not going to be speed limitation for the ESC, but when you're doing a brushless, it's pretty good already, just directly out of the box, so you don't have to like actually do anything. So additionally, on the remote, it's just going to be the pretty standard trims and stuff that you can adjust. But one thing that you wanted to play with is probably the throttle trim on this one, because when you are adjusting, when you're having like a brushless car with FOC, you can just let it drive itself to kind of see the slowest, how slow it can go, and that's going to be the fun part of it. So this is going to be the throttle trim. You can see that when you turn it a little bit, it's just going to be driving continuously without you having to hitting the throttle. And yeah, that's going to be the beauty of the FOC system. Super slow driving. All right, so next, let's actually just bring it to the trail. Let's do some trail test. All right, so this is going to be the regular trail speed that you'll be expecting if you just wanted to do it. So my throttle level, it's about 25%. So it's not really significant, but if you really wanted to punch it, okay, let me just go behind it. So if you want to punch it, this is how fast it actually goes. You really have to run in order to keep up. And this is kind of the power of brushless. And if you want to do donuts, you can. All right, so besides of it going really fast, you can see how slow it actually goes. Yeah, that's going to be brushless power, man. Brushless power, brushless power. Super nice. Yeah, you can see that the FOC is just compensating the wheel speed, to make it like climb like even speed, so you can see that it's, so the FOC is just something that is really nice, that you can see that it's just going to be compensating itself to kind of like keep the crawler at the same kind of level of speed. And so next, let's drive some tree roots so you can see how the articulation is going. And this is probably the most relaxing thing I like to do in front of my front yard. Just make it drive through tree roots. Yeah, so these kind of cores are just kind of too simple for it. And you can see that the flex of the suspension system is actually really good. Consider that it's completely stock. There's nothing you have to modify. And I have my fair share of cheap RC cars. And this one is probably one of the best ones that you can get for the money. Yeah, because if you buy like a really cheap like MM models, and you wanted to upgrade it to FOC, it's going to cost you a lot of money. And this one is just everything in one package. Oh, got caught on something.
Later.
We're actually just also going to be throwing in this kind of like root course in front of my house, because I do think that this is one of the best one I can find like near me. As you can see that this is a ficus, so there's a lot of roots that I can just use as obstacles, especially for this kind of class of cars. 12 scale, perfect. Just see how good a flex of this car is, just completely in stock. There's not much that you have to do in order to make it drive well. If you wanted to really test out the FOC, you can just also like really slow crawl it, you know, just to have the kind of like experience. Yeah, also wanted to mention that the turning angle, the turning like degree is actually pretty good. You can see that it's like really a lot. Consider, yeah. This is a relatively cheap car. Consider like most of the better ones are going to be more expensive. So yeah, definitely I think this is just, yeah, this one is one of my best performer, like stock performer at the moment. Next, let's just climb a little tree trunk to see if the top weight is actually going to give us a hassle. Okay, there's something there right there. Oops. Yeah, probably it's not going to make it because you can see that the top weight might be the thing that is actually going to give us, you see that it's going to tilt over. Yep. So that's going to be the downside of this body because it's just super top heavy. But if you try to find like a different angle, probably is going to work. You can see that we can climb up onto the seat. Oh, just getting stuck. Ah! All right, tilt over. Because of being top heavy, you are also going to be spotting a lot of like flip overs when you're turning at high speed. Like this. So if you're really going to complain about this car is still going to be a little bit jumpy if you're kind of like trying to get like a softer kind of spring, that kind of feel. Probably replacing the spring to something smaller would be better. And also, I think what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be adding a lot of like metal parts at the bottom. So, you know, just to kind of like get the weight there. Just like, this is kind of a little bit jumpy because of the top heaviness, I think. So if you wanted to drive this RC car like in the park or something, that's definitely okay. But if you're trying to do like something like a hardcore climbing, this might be a little bit challenging because this is just going to be something not built for that thing. All right, so if you think this video is actually helpful, please help me like and subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And any questions or comments, please feel free to leave it down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.